So my presentation is in French, but I will do it in English. And I hope you will get it. If you have any question, obviously, you can ask. And Aleko, Xeri, Piokalo, Raliko, Apo, by far, Macri. So I have prepared a presentation that I will do at the academic studies next month, because I have not done conference on Hermes head at the academy since 10 years. And there are many new members, so I said probably it's good to do some presentation. So for those who have already seen my presentation 5-6 years ago, it will be a little bit repeat. Probably 80% of the pieces I will show you are known, but obviously I have added all the new discovery I have done in terms of letters or dyes or stuff like that. So we will speak about the historical, we will speak about the dyes and the dye proof, about the blades, about the blade proof, about the way the MSA is listed, classified. We will obviously speak about the Paris printing, about all the Athens printing, about the two new value of 76 for the UGP, about the postal stationery, about the overprint, and we will end with some references. So as you can see, and as you know, the MSN has been used for 40 years, 61, 01, so which is absolutely crazy. So let's start by a small historical. So you probably have already seen that, but this is the chronology of what I got from the books, the philatelics books, in how the government here has decided to start the postal service. So there is a law on May 1955, which is starting to describe how the postal service will be implemented in Greece. It has been ratified by the king 3 years after, in 58, and published only the year after. Okay. Anyway, the Greek postal administration has already started the process, and they were asking to Perkin Bacon in London some quotation, just to understand how it will cost to start to do stamps. And finally, a new law defining the rates, defining the value, defining the colors of this value, has been put in first on February, has been voted at the Parliament, and has been published on the official journal in August, and has been started on the 21st of September. And probably this is an hypothesis, because at the end of the day, they have not used the British. We don't know why. I have not seen any document speaking about why they have selected the French printing and not the British. But probably between the end of 59 and the early 60s, they came in France and have met Barre and have decided to go with the French way of doing it. So probably also, the fact that the French stamps were done on typography and not on taille-douce. Typography is much more clean, in terms of printing than taille-douce. And also due to the fact that the first French stamps was Dimitra, was Ceres, L probably, but here it's not written, it's an hypothesis what I'm saying on this last point. Probably it's written on, I was in the Postal Museum in last April here in Athens, and the person with whom I was. I have his name, I don't remember now. It's a critic, Akis something. A good guy, told me, you know, downstairs we have that of documents that has not been touched since.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they, I mean, you know, he told me, the poor guy, I mean, even when we have to change a lamp, it's taking 3 weeks to get the paper to be done. So how you can imagine that they will touch this paper? But I'm sure, you know, I was always sure. I mean, I know the Greek. My mother was Greek, as you know. So you know, I know what it is. The Greek law never touched what has been done by the past, by the ancestor. So I'm sure everything has been kept, and one day we will probably discover many things when...
If they let you in 2 days a year, as they did when we had the system, it would take 300 years for you to read the stuff for...
And you know what they do, they were just in the middle of the process of digitalizing everything. So they were taking pictures, and they are spending a lot of money on doing that, so when you can have a quality which is for nothing. Okay, anyway, this is like it is. Anyway, so this is the introduction. So you obviously heard about this hookup, which is probably what Barr has done and has presented to Kalergis in Paris. So what he has done, you know, he has taken that from French stamps, un empire, un 25 centimes noir empire. He has removed the center and he has done that as a drawing. So that this is a drawing. You know, that was probably what was the beginning of the story and on what they agree with the Greek in Paris. So who has been the one who has proposed Hermes? Once more, we don't know. Could be Barr, could be the Kalergis, or another guy in the Greek.
Or the government.
Or the government, exactly, we don't know.
Or
So
the king.
Eh?
Or the king.
Or the,
Classicist king.
Louis,
We have a question.
sorry.
Question, if this is a drawing, then obviously there will be differences between this and the die proofs.
Yes, there are.
This is a drawing.
Believe me,
Yeah.
This is a drawing. The middle is a drawing.
Yeah,
The first drawing
it's
of
impressive. It's not a die proof. It's
No,
not
no,
a
it's
lazy.
a mock-up.
Yeah.
It's a drawing by hand, you know, by hand with pen. So it's nothing to do with proof.
So there would, if you compare them, there would be small
Oh, there's
differences.
many differences.
It's just a general idea.
But it's exactly.
If you look at it with a magnifying glass, it's amazing what you
Yeah.
see in there. And that's why Constantinople has only the center, because whatever is around it is totally irrelevant. It's a very, very, very crude kind of collage. The central part.
Το κέντρο, νόμιζα πως το κέντρο
Το κέντρο με τους μαργαρίτες.
το είχε κάνει από
Αυτό.
proof.
Όχι.
Όχι. Είναι drawing και το κέντρο.
Το κέντρο είναι το... Μέχρι τους μαργαρίτες, πώς το λένε.
Δεν μιλάμε για το proof που ξαφανίστηκε, το κέντρο.
Το γύρω-γύρω είναι ένα... Μπορούμε να βρούμε τώρα 10, να κάνουμε 10 μακέτες.
It's a drawing. Okay, it's a drawing. No die, no plates, obviously. It's before. He has probably done that. He has done that before July 60. Before July 60. When exactly, we don't know, but for sure before July 60. So this one was on Rothschild collection. It was then on Nazimagopoulos. Andreadis bought it a few time ago.
Μάλιστα. Todo sono andati rondoni, presentation.
Και πιο πριν μετά. Μετά.
Ναι.
Ήταν ιστορικό στρατιώ.
Και πριν το είχε ο Μαυρίδης.
So this is a letter of order sent by Kalergis not to Barr directly, it was sending to the boss of Barr, who was Pelouse, who was a director of the Mint in Paris, you know, and this is here, you know, this is the answer, you know, he has taken the answer and he, okay, so For sure, this letter, the original is somewhere, not far from here. But okay. And you know what it is? The appendix is very interesting because, you know, obviously they have defined the dimension, longueur, largeur, with, they are designing helicogrammatosimal, they have defined the values, they have defined the colors, and they have asked for that quantity. We'll come back on that more clearly later. So then the die. So you know we are in the middle of the 19th century, no electricity. So this was the desk of the graveur général, of Barr and his father and his brother later. So you know he had a magnifying glass and he had a set of tools in order to engrave the die, because he was making that for the stamps, but he was mainly making it for the coins and for the medals, you know. And this was at the Mint Museum in Paris, but they have done a new one and you cannot see it anymore. Anyway, it was a picture I've taken some 10 years ago. And this is the die, I mean the die of the médaillon. So the die of the médaillon was done for typography. When you want a line, you don't draw a hole, you draw two holes in order to have the line in the middle, which is the other way around for Taillus. When you want, because when you print on typography, what is printing the paper is the relief. On Taillus, what is printing the paper is the ink which is in the hole, which is going to the paper by capillarity. Okay, so this is the die he has done, you know, and Barr has done only the effigy, not the rest. The rest was done by the guys working for him in the Mint of Paris. So when he has done that, and we will come back, they do a match. This is a detail of it, just for you to see. And when they have done that, they do a matrix. Okay, so they take it and they do the reverse, and they use that one to do the final dies that will come later. And they put the first one in a cabinet somewhere, just to use it in case of something is broken during the process. Okay, so an interesting. This is a detail of them. Very nice, obviously. So what is interesting is that it's existing progressive die. So he has done an intermediate die in order probably to see where he was, you know. And this die is existing. It was on the archive of Barr. And from this die he has done a cliché in copper. This is a cliché in copper. And from that he has done some die proof. He has done that one. There are three of that. And he has done this one, which is more readable. So you know, and it was for him, because it was quite difficult to see where he was.
When was the first of the previous ones? When was the first of these found, observed, sending options? What's the first date that you know about it?
Only once. It was at the Agut auction in December 2002.
And before, no?
Before, never. Never.
It was on the archive of the
Barr.
Barr.
Okay, and only three are existing. So, two black, you have one of them, and the third one is sepia. And the guy who has it don't want to say who is it. So he gave me everything, but he said, don't tell anyone that I have that. And I don't know why. So this is, you know, I mean, he has done that.
This we know, there is.
Okay, and this is a comparison, Costa, from what he has seen and the way he has corrected it. But you know, I love that. It's very nice. Look, the eyes.
No, it's very human, and this is the God.
Maybe.
There is a huge difference
Yeah.
between the two. That is the perfect human, and this is the perfect God. And it's very important. There is a this
nice comment.
very, very critical. 3 small changes, and it all becomes different.
So, you know, I mean, Lou Basel has done a nice article where he has described
That's
Also
exactly
main-
what I was going to say. I was reading this article where he's describing all the minor, small differences, yeah.
we have done it together at the
Mm.
time
Yeah.
with my friend Lou.
It's also in the books, in the cover back there.
So these are the final die proof. So you know, I mean, we will come back to that later, but it was the plate were supposed to be done by Hulot, and they were supposed to be done with a methodology named galvanoplasty. It was exactly the same way the French were done. So you know, they were lighting some hole here, and they were putting 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, 40 for making the cliché in order to do the stuff. So, you know, Barr has done that in order to see where he was when he had finished the die. Okay, and 3 colors are existing, these 3 ones. And here we are coming in this interesting story between Barr and Hulot. Barr and Hulot were absolutely hating each other. I mean, the reason why is that Barr was a creator. He was making the artistic work of the creation of the die. Creation was Barr. And Hulot were here only for printing and before for making the plate. So when the French signed with Hulot in the early 50s, they have signed a contract with him because he was not employed by the French government. Like Barr was not employed, they were paid on what they were doing. So they were getting all the infrastructure, buildings mainly, but they were in charge, they were paid, they were not part of the government.
External workers.
They were external workers. Hulot and Hulot had signed an agreement in 51 or 52, and he was paid 1,500 for Galvano, for a plate, and he was paid 1.5 francs français for 1,000 stamps. You know, and it was in 52 or 51. And you know the number of stamps used in France came from 100 million in 52 to about 900 million in 59 or 58. And you were still getting 1.5 per 1,000. So he was rich, absolutely rich. And there is one article which has been published on Document Philatélique, the review of the document of Académie Philatélique, which is showing the listing of the artistic property of Hulot, painting, sculpture, buildings, and I can tell you he was very rich. Anyway, you know, they were not, because the poor Barr was only getting 1,500 for the die and nothing else. You know, when the other one was getting that every time you were making a plate, plus 1.5 or so.
If I remember right, after a certain point, the French government weren't too happy with Hulot.
So, I will come back to that. I mean, so it's a little bit complicated story because it's coming back and forth. But that one, to be back to that one, the die has been given to Hulot on the 1st of February. Okay, and Hulot started the job, which was he put the plug of the one. You remember the hole, and he has just done that to see. I mean, there are 2 hypotheses. That one, Hulot has done it, or, which I think is probably the better one, is that when Barr get back the die, because you know, I mean, what's happened? The Greek placed the order the 1st of August. Barr said, for the die, I need 3-4 months. Hulot said, for the plate, I need 3-4 months. So it's 8 months maximum. So which means that the Greeks were supposed to get their plates on March 61. Okay? On October, Napoleon, who was emperor, has decided to have on the coins and the stamps and the medal the crown of Caesar, I mean, you know, the emperor. There is a letter of the Ministry of Finance to the boss of Bar stating you stopped everything and you do that. And it's underlined with 2 lines, you know. So Bar was probably working on top of other things on the Greek one. He put that apart. And he finished the die only on February, which is août, septembre, octobre, novembre, décembre, janvier, 6 months. He gave it to Hulot. Hulot gave it on February-Mars, and the Greek came to see Hulot early April, and they said, where are our plates? And Hulot was probably a very difficult guy. Anyway, there is a letter of the day after this visit from Kalergis asking to Pelouse, the boss of Bar, please give us everything back and we will manage ourselves another way. And then the die was retired from Hulot and given back to Bar in order to do the plate with another method. But I will come back on that a little bit later.
Does that one have the break in the first line?
No, don't complexify the things, this is story. I will tell you after. I will tell you after. So this is the final die, final, you know, and here there is no more hole. Because with the methodology of Bar, the value were done individually. When, you know,
were struck.
were done with poisson, I mean, I don't know how you say that, which is not the case with the 60 and the 30 lepta of 76, which has been done in galvanoplasty, same way as the traditional stamp. So this is the final one. No. So now we can come back, and Costa will come back to your point. So the typographic plate. So as I said, they were supposed to be done by Hulot. Finally, they have not been done on galvanoplasty by Hulot, but on what we call frappe direct au balancier, which means direct shrinking on the coining press in English. They have 150 clichés, and the value, the first 7 value of the H.P.S. heads are the only stamps which has been printed with this methodology. And this methodology were developed by Bar, back to your point, you know, in '58, because they were discussing with Hulot, but Hulot had the monopoly at that time. So the French Ministry of Finance was, you know, there are letters which are very interesting. And Pelouse asked Bar, could you please find, and there is a nice letter on that, an alternative way of building the plates. 58. In 58.
I was just reading those articles, that's why I asked.
It was in 58. He has done it by not making it in a bath, you know, by electrolytic process, but by coining each cliché on the balancier. And he has done some trials, some plate proof, which are this famous Essai 58. Pelouse and Arago, the Ministry of Finance, have exchanged a lot of letters with Hulot, but they were in power because they have an alternative, which was not the case before. And Hulot decided in 60 to go from 1.5 per 1,000 to 0.6 per 1,000. And they said to Bar, thank you, Monsieur Bar, they pay 1,500 for the die, 1,500 for the plate, and put that somewhere. Back now in April '61, when the Greek came to to see, you know, and when they probably fight with the Greek administration. Pelus, I don't know what's happened because there is a period of 10 days where we have no letter. So it was probably exchanged by direct exchange. But they asked to Bar, remember you have done 3 years ago this methodology. Could you not use it to do the plate of the group for the Greek? And this is the reason why this method has been used for the Greek. I don't know if I'm clear enough. It's a little bit complex because we are going back and forth in time. But this is to answer to your question, the reason why. So you know this methodology was done by coining the cliché with this type of machine. People were, and then they were like a coin, exactly like a coin. So there are several of that at the museum of the Mint. This is interesting, and this is particularly well documented by Bar. When he got that, he finds a way to do a trial, not using bronze, copper, metal, but doing pure steel. And he has done this small plate of 100, and he said it's probably the best metal to be used in order to do the plates, but unfortunately it's too difficult to point. And he put it apart. But that trials has been done only for the Greek. The French don't know that. They don't know. But he's really documented that there is on his minutier, because he's explaining the problem of the copper, because in the plate of the Greek, of the French, there are a lot of copper, is that there is a chemical action between the copper and the inks, and it's altering the colors. When the steel is neutral, but the steel cannot be used because it's too difficult to point. So it's a reason why they are also part of the. But anyway, so he kept the same thing. So the famous plate has been back from the cellar a few years ago, and we have seen them. Fortunately, they are all, as you have seen, absolutely perfect, except one, which is the one which has been the most used, which is 20 lepta, and it has been reconstituted by Stefano. Okay, so what is good, by the way, is this way we can see the receptor, and this is the work, with the name of Bar here, and we can see the back of the receptacle. So it's good to have seen that during notos. So these are the plates. So when you do plates, you do plate proof. You do plate proof for many different reasons. You do plate proof for calibration of the press, because it was a hand press, at that time, the stand-up. Stand-up means that it was metal at the back and which was fixed on the ground,
Very good press, very different.
And you do the trial in order to another thing that Bar has done. Before speaking about the plate proof. He has first, obviously, he was obliged to find a printer because he was not printer. The printer was was making the plates and then printing. For the Greek, we are not making the plate because they were given to Bar. So he was obliged to find a printer because he has no printing and he will not ask to do it, obviously. So he found a printer in Paris, a guy named Ernest Meyer, as you know, and he has done this trial, which is again A758, blue, but on blue paper. And he has done only one sheet. Because they have exactly, as you know, they have the numbers on the back. And I have never seen two same errors. Never. Maybe that it existing, but I have never seen, and I have a collection of them. So anyway, he tries that, and he tries these famous control numbers. I will come back on it. So this is the first trial. And as I said, back to the essay in French, so the plate proof. They were used to calibrate the machine, and particularly the black were done for that, in order to make alignment and stuff like that. So these are some interesting stuff. Here, you know, this one is another 6. Unfortunately, it has been cut, but he's explaining that on stand-up, he can, you know, it was the Greek one in 61 was only 150. It was one plate. In France, it was 2 plates at the same time, like in 76 with the 30 and 60 lepta. So here, what he's saying I've done 2 values on the same stand-up. But unfortunately, it has been cut by a bloody sometimes. So anyway, these are some blocks. So obviously, you have a very interesting stuff that were done for whatever reason, you know. He was using what he has, you know. The problem was not at that time to see the quality of the printing, but to calibrate the machine, you know.
Yeah.
So he was really using, and you even have that with the major stuff behind. He was also using that in order to find the right color, because the ink was a mix of oil and powder. You know, so he was making the calibration. So you have interesting colors. Here's the 80, you know. Same for the 1, you know. And you have a lot of recto verso with different value. It was not really the problem. So the collection of essay is interesting. What also he used when the process was at the end, he was making some stuff like that in papier pelure. Papier pelure is like a cigarette paper, very, very, very thin, and he was signing it and giving that to the people around, you know, to the important people. So he essai sur papier pelure, épreuve d'essai du 40 lepta. And then you have the famous imprimature. Imprimature, you know, it's the last trial, which is that they do, and when they say, oh, finish, stop everything, keep everything the way it is, and we will do the industrial printing. You know, so they vont attirer en français. In English, I don't remember the name, but so we have this famous imprimature, which had the address of the printer at the top. So they are exactly the same as the printing stamps. The only difference is that they have not been gummed. There is no gum on the back. But you know, this is exactly the calibration for the ink, for the paper, for the machine, for the press. So they are exactly the same. So yeah, there is no difference.
These are garage.
Garage material. So it's a very interesting story, but I have done an article on Opus on that, and it's very interesting, but it's a long story. So
no, forget the long story.
Voilà, c'est pas. If you are interested, read that article, but it's very funny. I mean, the way it has been, this stuff has been found in the 19th century and the beginning of the 20th century. So, imprimature, this one with the numbers, okay. An interesting one has been sold by Karamitsos this summer, but I was in Annapolis, so I've not been able to 40 lepta. You got it? No. It was not a bad price anyway. So this is the classification. So I don't want to enter into classification because we have so many. You know that Hiver was not bad.
That's how you make it in one session, the whole of the large cell. You do not enter into the classification.
So, just to be concise, this is the last. But if you're interested, you can take Stefano books or Groove books. You know, you will have many stuff. So the Paris printing. So this is interesting. This is what the Greek government have ordered on the letter you have seen earlier, you know, with the color. And this is the final color. So the Greek administration want to have their first stamps black, like the penny black and like the 20 centimes français. But told to the Greek people, guys, don't do that. We had a lot of problem in France because they were reused because we cannot see the difference with franking, you know. So it's a reason why the black were not used. Because the French has changed very fast the 20 lepta black to 20 lepta blue due to that, because the stamps were reused. It was not so obvious. So also another one is the red. You know, I don't know if you know the story of the franc vermillon, but this is the problem. The vermillon were exactly the same as the orange. So they decided, they put it, and they had a lot of problems in terms of using the wrong stamp for the wrong value and stuff like that. And they decided not to do rouge. Or not to do at the same time rouge, red, and orange, because it may be confusion. So it's the reason why the red has disappeared, but the orange stayed. So the only one who stayed the way the Greek asked for was the 5. Yeah. These are the famous stamps. Nice. The quantity. This is the first quantity order. Once more, Bar told them, he told them three things: change the color, and the Greek government followed. He told them, don't do 7 value, you need 5 maximum. But the Greek stay on the 7 value, and he has them take much more. It will cost nothing, I mean, not so much, and you will need it. So you know it was 5,000 at the beginning. The second order, the change of the first order was double, and at the end he gave a little bit more. I mean, he not gave, but he sent a little bit more of each value. In particular, he doubled the tulepta, because on the first shipment of the tulepta it was the pale beast, and on this letter he's saying, I don't like this color, it's too pale, so I have redone one, and I sent you a 1,000 stamp for free. He has not asked for payment for the second. Okay, so at the end of the day, this is the Paris printing. And as you know, the first day was 1st of October, and already at the end of October, the Greek started to print stamps because no 20 lepta were available. Here you can ask that gentleman, he will explain to you exactly the date of that. Not to enter into the detail. So, that is interesting. The famous control number. So many things has been written about that, but there is only one document written by Barr on the subject. And I will just review that. It's on the postscriptum of the letter, which was with the second shipment, because the plates, the stamps, and the die has been sent to Athens in 2 shipments, one in July, one in June. And on the second shipment, one in July, one in August. One in July, one in September. This is on postscriptum, saying the stamps of 10 lepta, the last I have done, have on the back the printed value 10 lepta on numbers of high dimension. J'ai cru. I was thinking, doing that, this innovation that I had the idea very late, because it's giving a lot of advantage. And this is the only thing which has been written. So we still don't know for what reason. You know, what he was thinking, what was the advantage he was thinking of? Better visibility? Could be.
Because the numbers are very small, because of good taste. If you see the small hermit heads, they are disgusting taste, but they match functional needs and regulations, worldwide regulations. This is classical and beautiful, but it's not as easily legible by stupid people. So that was the solution to that.
So the other things is obviously a way to better quantify, control, you know.
Less excuses for fraud.
Is it enough the color of the stamps for the values?
Sorry?
Is it enough the colors of the stamps?
Yeah, but no, because for him, for us, obviously, but for people in the country, you know, they were or even they were using stamps once a month, or, you know, I think we were in the middle of the 19th century, you know? So, we don't know, so, you know, it could be also done by, it could also be done for avoiding the falsification. Why not? You know, so we don't know. So it's a reason why I'm always putting shift the control, which seems to be the advantage he was thinking of, the top advantage he was thinking under bracket, because we don't know, in fact, I mean, officially. And maybe we will find that somewhere, I don't know, one day or another. So obviously you know the different control errors, you know, the zero inverted, the one inverted, the uneven numbers, the one open, the zero open, and obviously the two numbers are open. I don't have that one. Huh? I just take one and I inverted it. I have used the one, but this one I don't have the theory. It's a fake rule. So, this is, and here you will see a patas blue after that. So this is one of the first day of issue. Okay, there are not so many, you know, there are probably something like 7, which are, without doubt, there are 2. The Ibrahia one is nice, but it was not the first day. No, it was the second day. And there is one which is probably a fake. Okay, anyway, this is a Patras blue, you know, which is much more blue than the one that you have shown me. Not common on letters, probably 3 or 4 letters are known with the Patras blue, and probably how many sheets for your opinion? 1 sheet?
Oh, definitely more than 1 sheet.
More than 1 sheet.
There's no reason to think.
Okay.
It's not.
Several
if it was
sheets.
1 sheet, it would cost more than the Solferino. It's not 1 sheet.
Yeah, but it's not marketed the same way.
Yeah, it shouldn't be, and it's not. You shouldn't expect it to be 1 sheet. It's more than 1 sheet. It's a slight variation.
So obviously you have very nice letter at the beginning of the usage. You know, here, you know, we are in Chios, we are November, and already in Chios there is no 20 left. So
Όχι ακόμα,
Yes.
το 9 θα έρθω.
Chios, and it's interesting because below the steps there is the ranking of the Lloyd Agency of Chios.
Yes, okay.
So this was is interesting because it's a 150. John is here. No. Okay, because it's the rate with the French Le Bon. It's a French post office of Constantinople, and it's interesting because it's the 4th of October, which will probably is the first date of usage of the 10. So an interesting letter. This one is quite classical with France, you know, 132, which was the rate by the paquebot de la Méditerranée. You know, this is a tax one, so you know it was signed without stamp, and it has been stamped in Athens with with nice stamps. This one the same, but it's 244, it's the third level of weight, you know. Again, only Paris printing. This one is a double weight with Trieste. So 150 and not 75.
Austrian rates.
Austrian rates, absolutely. Okay, interesting because they are all Paris printing here on this letter. This was is interesting with the Russian. With the Russian, everybody, I mean, the Greek and the Russian were paying up to Constantinople.
Yes.
And so you know here it was going to from Taganrog from Patras to Taganrog, sorry. So the Greek paid up to Constantinople, and when it arrived in Taganrog, the person paid 33 kopek cash that time, you know. So this was done for summer. Obviously, there is another route by Vienna and by train, which is giving you nice covers with a lot of train cancellation. This is one with Belgium. Okay, so we are in January '62, and we are in Athens, and in Athens no more 20 hectares, obviously, so it's the first Athens here. The rest are Paris printing. This one is quite difficult to get because it's a German state, and there are not so many letters with the German state, and the few which are existing has been taken by Wolfgang. So anyway, this one is interesting because it's Monsieur Baron, Minister of Peace in Athens, okay, and it's 80 Letta is a Parisian, and the two others are the first of.
Can you see the date? No.
Sorry, the date?
My interest is in the date of arrival, the date of the birth.
The 15th of December, the 27th of December.
So 15 here. 15.
This one is also interesting because it's once more
A little bit louder.
Yeah, okay.
and it was insufficiently paid. So it's a mixed ranking with Paris printing, which is not so common. After in it at 62, quite late. It's coming from London to Patra. With a nice cachet mobile de Hagen, d'Aix-la-Chapelle. So the Athens printing, they were in use from 81 to 82, but they have been print according to Constantinides from 61 to 82. This is so the same plates that was used for the Paris printing were used for the Athens printing, obviously, and only 7 plates of the 7 first value were used. No other one. It's existing a lot of printings from 12, if you want to be concise, to be 30 or even more, because the stamps were done in small quantities, so quite often. We don't have any document yet regarding the number of stamps which has been printed here in Athens.
Well, we have started calculating them.
Yeah, we can
We have
calculate.
started and we can
Nice.
do some more.
Yeah, sure. The control number has been used for all the value except the 1 and the 2, as you know, but they were a little bit smaller, 6.5, you know that, obviously. And there are obviously many control numbers there, as our friend Onduro will say. So I'm just putting here some of them, you know, but there are many others, you know, and even large space, double, triple, which is not triple, it's double, but they have done first the two here and they put the second one. Anyway, the Zanterror when it's printing on the front. This one, this is the Argoston error, so print paper. And this one, it's interesting, it's oxidized corner, stuff that I have found some years ago in a small collection in Paris. So this is the Paris printing. So here only 2 lepta, so 10 to lepta to do 20 lepta, which was the domestic rate, as you know. Here an interesting one with a strip of 5 plus 1 for the 26, which was the rate between the Ionian Island, you know. That one is 188, which is 1.5 weight for France, with the paquebot de la Méditerranée. This was is interesting because he went from a small village in Lorraine on the northeast of France, and it was insufficiently paid. So when it arrived in Greece, it got 132. They totally ignored what was on the top. This was up to
regulation.
Yeah, it has been changed after that. After that, they were counting what was put on the departure, and they were only adding the difference. So, nice letter. This one is nice also, I mean, due to the number of stamps. It's 74, so unfortunately I think it's not 71 printing, but mesh paper probably. Unfortunately, one stamp is missing here, 1 lepta, because you have only 19 to do the 90. But anyway, it's a nice cover. You know, and the 90 here was put by the agent in the boat when the letter were not stamped, and they were taxed at the arrival.
74 doesn't tell you. It could be, and it doesn't tell you what, that it's not. Definitely not. You have to check this.
Because I would like to
find some other way to check the stamp.
If it could be 71,
yes,
it would
I'm
be
sure
happy.
you'd like. I don't know what it could be, but the date doesn't say.
So this one is interesting. It's a very common destination. Trieste was probably the most common destination aboard. So the guy paid the guy who was Vlasopoulos, the brother. He paid 70, you know, 20, 40, 60, 70, which is too much because with the our board of Austria it was only 55. So he pays that. Anyway, what is interesting is that is a clean plate. And this block is a bigger,
very rare.
the bigger block known with a famous 5 lepta clean plate, which is really rare in fact. Much more rare than the value he has on the catalog from my point of view. So it's a nice letter. This was is also very interesting because he went from Pialea to Genoa in Italy. It was 6 levels of weight, so it was stamped for that. And when it arrived, in fact, the Italian probably have discovered that it was much more heavy than what the Greek have said, and they put 8, and they had the difference of value. So which is exactly the same value because in 70, the Greek the French and the Italians signed what we call l'entente latine, where they put one centimesi and one lepta at the same level. Before it was a little bit different. It was 112 lepta was un franc français, and so on and so forth. They just have decided to do entente latine.
87-1.
In 70.
70.
I have the exact date somewhere, but où est-ce que c'est marqué? Je l'ai pas marqué. Voilà, c'est là. Comme il y avait parité des monnaies grecques italiennes depuis l'entrée de la Grèce dans l'Union latine. I can tell you the date. Huh? It's not written here, but I have it obviously. Huh? It's a paper, it's a convention. So anyway, it's a nice letter with insufficiently paid with nice stamps. That one, so it's not insufficient, it's with countries or states without convention, you were paying up to the airport. And when it arrived, it was paid to the airport, and when it arrived in Piraeus, the Greek had 20 letta for the domestic rate. You know? It's not because it was not space. Same with the papal states, you know, here. This is a double weight, same story with the Russian. Everybody was paying up to, so it's not because it was not insufficiently paid, it was because the convention was really stating that everybody has to pay to or from Constantinople. So sometimes the Russian were putting stamps, sometimes it was cash. This one is interesting, it's from Egypt, from Port Said, okay? So it went from Port Said to Alexandria, and then, you know, it has been taxed when it arrived in Syria by 40. This one, you have seen it in Philotelia. So, you know, the 5 times are missing. And you know, from the back, but not only, I mean, obviously you have 2 here, you have 2 there, and you have also the last one, sorry, the last one is on the front, here, but here, and it was, exactly, you know, so I have found that, so, and you know, so, but here it has been cut, you know, it just, but very nice. I mean, this was exposed at Monaco Field in 2004, I think, and it was a property of an Italian guy, British Italian guy.
And now?
And now? Don't know.
It's yours.
Okay, so you know about obviously the UPU. When the UPU rides the Greek were founder, so they were part of the famous Bern Congress in 74, and this is a letter stating that these 2 guys will represent Greece, signed by the King George, okay, to state that these 2 persons will represent Greece as plenipotentiaire for this Congress. So the 20 and so this is interesting. It's in museum here. You know, I've never seen it before April. Okay, and this is the die of the 16th. No, I've never seen it before. Huh?
They told me they don't know where the plates are. Do you know anything about the plates? Besides the few pieces? They said
I have seen them 15 years ago.
You see the 60 left out? Because they didn't know where they were.
They will find it.
Oh, I'm sure.
But they could, you know, it's still, they could probably clean it, you know, very easily. Huh? It's not fragile, huh? But anyway. So it's nice to see that, you know, it's another way of doing things. So same process he has done, I mean, here, the die were in Athens. He has written a letter to Athens. Bar has written a letter and asked for the die to be back in Paris. So the die went back went back to Paris, and he reused it in order to do the 60 and 30 and 60, sorry, and it has been done that time by Cliché. Not with Hulot anymore, because Hulot has been sacked at the end of the day, you know, in 66, if I well remember. No, he was really sacked. But galvanoplasty 15 years ago, which was a monopoly to Hulot in the 60s, were quite knowledge, and many companies in Paris were making it. So Bar has not done so much, and anyway, he has done the die proof. This is also here, you know. So I don't want to enter on that either, but it's another way of doing galvanoplasty. Before, the French were making one galvano at the same time. Now they were prefer to do 15 and to do repeat. Okay, so this is it's very heavy. You know, it's font quite heavy. You know, and it was used in order to do the one which were assembled in order to do the plate itself. So this is new. This is a spare part probably, or one which, because it was in Paris. It is still in Paris, and it's 60 hectares, and either it was a spare or it was a defective.
It's unused.
It's
unused.
It's I cleaned it. You know, it was very dirty. I clean it, and it's like new now. You know, it's copper, so you just need to clean it, and it's becoming like you know. So I don't know. This is the galvano, same story. It's the galvano of the 30 hectares, but I cannot tell you if it was good or if it was a spare part. But it was once more in the archive of Bar. Okay, you can see like a plate, but in galvanoplasty. This is a picture I have taken in 20 years ago, something like that. Obviously, we see that, which is funny, you know, the pipe, you know, on position 10 of the right plate, which is another attractive thing about Greek is the plate flow. So you have native plate flow, which are plate flow which were coming from the first plate, I mean from the plate at the beginning, I would like to say.